which has no meaning anywhere in the universe except for here.
It's the 22nd all day.
All day long. In fact, for you out there, it's going to be a lot longer than for me. Or, in fact, Dave in Australia. Because we are way ahead of you. You can catch the cave on the air, on the line, and onto your smart device. So grab it up to listen anywhere or listen at home on the Grace Table of this radio. No, I can't speak English. I just think it sounds funny if I say it like that. More importantly, the archives are free, which is good. So you can go into the archives. Another reason to donate is you can listen to whatever you want for as long as you want. Knock yourself out. Before we start broadcasting at you in anger, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. Dave?
I'm broadcasting from Dark and Jung Country.
Thank you, sir. And myself, of course, am broadcasting from the Rock Country, and we would like to past, present, and future, Dave. I completely forgot to talk about something on Sunday on Shiny Set Out, which we also do, by the way. Shiny Set Out, bing, 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 cross promotion, bing, bing, bing. It's something that upset me a lot.
Oh, no.
A lot. Yeah, no, I found it extremely upsetting, and I'll tell you why. Because, okay, you're gonna bear with me. When I was a kid, I used to like to play dress-ups and cowboys and Indians, except it wasn't really cowboys and Indians we played. It was just two groups we dressed up, and one year I was a Mexican, one year I was a cowboy, another year I was a pirate, as you do. You dress up, right? In Germany it's called Carnival. It's similar to Halloween, kinda. It's more closely related to the Brazilian Carnival, where you have floats and people go around and such. But it's good fun for kids, nonetheless. So you all dress up and you get candy and wonderful things. But it's fun to dress up and be someone else. You pretend. It's make-believe, right? You're playing, and it's called play. So today I'm a pirate, and tomorrow I was a vampire too. I was a vampire. I was a skeleton. Mom made me like a whole hoodie thing, right? And I had a skeleton mask and all that. And I'll do the same thing, for my kids now. When Halloween rocks on, even though Halloween is not really Australian.
Not as celebrated, no.
No. I mean, it's fun. We just
it's kind of
the neighborhood gets into it. I carve pumpkins, etc. But okay, so why am I telling you all this? Because if you like that as a child, then your ideal profession would be actor, right? You'd be an actor, an actress, whatever, and then you could do that all day long and get paid for it. Is there anything better? Well, I don't think there is. Now, not every actor makes it big, and for every famous millionaire actor, there's probably 10,000 actors that are waiting tables somewhere, right? So, but what it is, though, is you are a person that wishes to make believe. You're a person. If you're a good actor, you go and become your character. And I love live performances on stage. I really do, right? I find it mesmerizing, and especially when you've got good actors doing it. But it's not real. We all know it's not real. But if the actor is really, really good, they can make you forget that it's not real, and to be transported.
Too, right? It feels good.
Yeah, you can be transported. And now in Shakespearean times, only men were allowed to be actors, which is interesting because it's sort of like a throwback. Because in ancient Rome, anybody could be actor, actress, men or women, didn't matter. It was a very lewd profession, and half-time actors doubled as prostitutes. But that's a long time ago now. And like I said, in Shakespearean times, it was only men that were allowed to be in the acting profession. So women couldn't act, and so forth. So Hamlet was all men, and, etc. And so was Othello, and Desdemona was played by a man, and so on and so forth. Okay, then we emancipated, and women could act, and that was wonderful. And Bruce Lee wanted to play the title role in the TV show called Kung Fu, which was about, I guess, a half Chinese, maybe not half Chinese, but a Chinese monk that was familiar with Kung Fu martial arts, right? And then went around the American West. So it was like a Western with Kung Fu. I'm sure you've seen it. If you know it, you love it. But Bruce Lee didn't get the role. Dave, do you know why he didn't get the role?
No, I don't.
He looked too Asian to play a Chinese man. So it went to David Carradine instead. They had to put like sort of fake eye makeup on him to make him look more Chinese. Similar with Charlie Chan. Charlie Chan was like a detective character, like Sherlock Holmes, set in New York of the 1930s and 40s, black and white. And it was Peter Lorre who played Charlie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, funnily enough, he had a whole bunch of sons as well. Number one son, number two son, was sort of a running joke. Joe. Now they were all Chinese or Asian, at least. They were actually Asian, right? All his sons in the movies, they were all Asian, except he couldn't be. The title character had to be a white guy dressed up as a Chinese person. Okay. Now, I'm getting to my point. That's why I'm so upset. But it's all make believe, and I love the Charlie Chan movies. Yes, of course I understand racism. I understand that equal opportunities didn't exist, but it's part of history. So I'm not going to rewrite it. It's just what it is. But what we've done today, and this really upsets me. Tom Hanks played a gay man who was dying from AIDS in the movie Philadelphia many years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think Denzel Washington played his lawyer, but I could be wrong, but I think he did. And people are upset. And Tom Hanks himself said, oh, yeah, no, today I couldn't play that part. Oh, I couldn't. Now, let's be very clear here, right? I understand that equal opportunity is important. I get it. But there's such a thing as artistic license, right? Mm-hmm. And Tom Hanks did a fantastic job, in my opinion, portraying a gay man that's dying from AIDS. He really brought AIDS and the whole issue into the conversation, in my opinion. He did a fantastic job. Laurence Olivier played Othello, okay? And Robert Downey Jr. played a black character in, I think it was Pineapple Express.
No, not Pineapple Express.
Which one was it? You know the one I mean, right?
Yeah, not Days of Thunder. Oh,
yeah, I think that's it.
No.
Something Thunder.
Yeah.
Thunder Express or something?
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, thank you, sir. And Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy played an old Jewish white guy in Coming to America.
Yes.
Now, what we're saying today is that none of these people can do that anymore because those roles should be filled by people of that particular persuasion.
Oh,
so next time we have to find.
Are you talking? Are you going to talk about a video game in a minute?
No, not at all. No.
Because the guy who voices Mario in the arcade classic is no longer doing the voice.
Because he's not Italian, right?
Correct.
The same reason they took Apu off the air. So let's be very clear here, right? A lot of comedy exists for satirical purposes. Mad. It's like a mirror held up to society, and I don't really care who voices what, or because in Indian accent you can tell an Indian accent. You hear it, it's an Indian accent. A Jamaican accent, you can hear it. And part of an actor's repertoire is to be able to do accents. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a shock! What a shock! Or do impersonations. That's part of acting, right? But people get their knickers in a knot about this, and it really upsets me. Now,
yes.
So from here on in, if we wanted to do Philadelphia again, we would have to find a gay man dying of AIDS to play the role. That's what I'm hearing.
Let's hope the scheduling is okay.
Yeah, but this is insanity. Do you know in Mad Max, in the original script, Mad Max had a dog, and he still had a dog, but in the script it had 3 legs. It was a 3-legged dog.
Yeah.
And they quickly decided not to do that, lest they encouraged people to amputate one of their dog's legs for auditioning purposes, right? So that didn't happen. But my point here is this. If you're an actor, you do a role, and let's say, hey, how about this? So let's talk about Hamlet for a second, right? So Hamlet is being staged somewhere, and you're a really progressive director. You want to really make a statement with Hamlet, right? Whatever, I don't care what it is. But you decide it's going to be an all-Asian cast, or an all-black cast, or whatever. You can't do that, because Hamlet, they're all Scandinavian. They all have to be blonde and blue-eyed. I'm sorry. Can't do it. Can't be done. Nah, sorry, no. I mean, in fact, the recent depiction of Cleopatra in I think it was BBC. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. There was some history period piece. It was quite good, and people got really upset because the actress portraying Cleopatra was black. Now, fair enough, because Cleopatra is actually Greek. When Alexander went through Egypt, his general state, or a general state, Ptolemy, he became the first Greek pharaoh, and then his lineage passed down into Cleopatra. Now, she probably wasn't as white as some of the Greeks today, but she probably wasn't black either. The point, though, is people got their knickers in a knot about that as well. Why can't you just look, in none of the depictions of Jesus in the movies
have they got it right anywhere?
Have they got it right? There's no way that Jesus looked anything like any of the Jesus we have seen, except maybe in it was Silent Bob's. What was it called? I'm gonna lie to you. It was brilliant. You know,
Jay
Buddy
and
Jesus.
Silent Bob's movie, yeah.
Yeah, but Jesus was played by the black comedian and Chris Rock. I want to say Chris Rock. And you know what? Jesus was most definitely a dark-skinned fellow.
He was not white. That's correct.
Because that's where he's from the dark-skinned area of the world.
You know, there's no more shooting. Well, there's no more shooting film with Santa in it. Because if you're not Santa, then you can't portray him.
or elves for that.
Elves, yes. Hello, Mickey.
No,
I sent you a message in our chat, private chat, and you know, I shouldn't be doing Mr. Burns' voice because, you know, I'm not like more than 100 years old and really wealthy, so. Yeah.
Well, the Rothschilds could play him. I guess that's.
Well, that was the whole thing.
No, but
cost a whole bunch more to make these shows, Mickey.
Yeah, but have I gone mad?
Yes, they have gone mad.
Yeah, clearly. I don't like what's happening. I don't like. So if I'm an actor now, let's take me.
You could be a voice actor, and you're not going to get much work anymore unless you're.
An ogre. Who's gonna voice the panda? I don't know. No, but it's insanity. Because okay, Dave. Let's take Dave.
Okay, they're filming Shrek 3, and who's gonna do the donkey?
This someone else. Yeah. So Dave is a white guy. No offense, Dave.
No, I'll take it.
If Dave were an actor, he could only play white guy parts. That's it. Until the end of time. All you get is, in fact, he can only play middle-aged white guys, for that matter.
Can I get paid until the end of time?
No.
Oh.
No, you can wait tables. Thank you very much. No, but this has gone too far, everybody. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's insanity. It is completely nuts.
Yeah.
If you're an actor, and this goes pretty much for anything, and especially voice actors, right?
That's right.
And animated characters, like Dave pointed out just quite rightly earlier. It is a complete insanity to have these ideas that, oh no, Tom Hanks, you couldn't play that today. The thing is, you couldn't make American Pie today.
Who's going to voice Scooby-Doo, Mickey?
Who's going to voice Scooby? That's a good question. There's going to be a whole raft of movies that have to be sanitized. In fact, if you ever read Arabian Nights, which is 1001 Nights, it is the most anti-Semitic text you will come across in a long time. Do we have to clean that up too?
Well, they're deleting cigarettes out of old movies now.
Yeah, but that's stupid. That's even more stupid.
Oh yeah,
Humphrey Bogart without a cigarette is not Humphrey Bogart, man.
That's right. You played it for her. You can play for me. Do you know? I'm thinking like, let's go back to the old shows, Mickey. Like, I don't know, Petticoat Junction. If you're not actually a train driver, you shouldn't be acting in the train driver role, right?
How crazy is that?
Well, what about I Dream of Jeannie? If you're not actually a genie, I'm sorry. I think
here's the bottle. Come on.
Casting's going to take long, is it?
Are you getting in the bottle or what?
Get in the bottle.
What do you mean you can't get in the bottle?
You can't be a genie then.
We're auditioning for genies. Did you not read the advert? Seriously.
And it clearly says, must be a real genie.
Yeah. When does it end, Dave? Really? I want to know. Everybody out in the chat in the world, anyone listening to me, where will this end, this madness? Where?
I don't know. Maybe it has no end. maybe you can only write parts for who you are. So at some point, unless the part's actors, like the part's character name is Dave Dunger, then, there's only 5 of us in the world. I looked it up. There's only 5 of us. One of us has got to fit that role.
So you will only ever be playing yourself with your own soundtrack playing in the background,
That's right?
That's what's going to happen.
I can imagine Legal leaping out in front of the camera. Yes, because I did this.
He's not a Dunger.
No,
he's not a Dunger.
No, you can't. No voices. Got to be your own voice. Thank you.
I mean, but see, Saturday Night Live, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what every American comedian that made
It's
money.
worth their salt came from there. That's right.
Came from there, 100%. Right from the beginning, you had Belushi and
Dan Aykroyd
and Aykroyd, absolutely, and Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, etc.
And what was I saw him live. The man with 2 brains.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
He played Ruprecht the Monkey Boy. Can't do that now. Steve Martin.
Yeah, he was brilliant. I loved him.
Ruprecht the Monkey Boy.
It's like, may I go to the bathroom, please? Yes. Thank you. Sorry, that's from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. But
yes, that's true.
Look, I no longer recognize this planet. Sorry, I shouldn't say this because it's not everywhere. It's in America. This is an American thing. Guys,
it's a writer's strike, Mickey. What are you going to do?
Oh no, but I am with those guys. I completely support them because you know what the studios are trying to do? They're trying to use AI to write all the things. So screw you. Thank you very much. No more writers. And not only that, all the actors, especially not the highly paid actors, they want to use their image, and they have to sign away the rights to the image in perpetuity. So
that's right. That's so not right.
So, yeah, so you could have movies, especially now with deep fake technology, etc.
Yeah.
That have nobody in it that you know, but they all look like the people that you know. So and of course, then they don't have to pay anyone. Sweet bananas, and that's what the strike is about. Because those guys, they're making a mozza, okay? So it's about streaming.
Mickey, just to bring this point home, in the music industry, it has been done for many, many years.
Yes.
Nearly 50 years that I know of examples. If you know the band Black Box, and they had a bunch of early dance tracks, right? Did you know that one of the ladies from the Weather Girls, from the song It's Raining Men, was actually the singer for Black Box? And they did one of the first, there's been many, but one of the first Milli Vanillis. They had a very, very, let's say, Vogue cover girl styled person on stage, pretending to sing with the lady in the back, unseen, singing the lyrics. Yes, pictured on the album, given credit in the sleeve, the record sleeve or the CD sleeve, was this person that didn't sing it.
Wow.
So there's a couple of examples of that same lady from the Weather Girls putting her voice on music and never getting paid for it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh, she proved it all. Good
for her.
And she's earned some of the money. Oh, the other one was CNC Music Factory.
I remember them.
That Gonna Make You Sweat.
Yeah, I remember them.
Well, that lady wasn't the lady who sang it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the same.
Really?
It was the same. Let's call the lady, without being sexist or awful, one of the most beautiful voices that you could hear. She was from the Weather Girls. Look it up, Weather Girls. It's Raining Men, and she was the singer, not the one pictured, and not the one credited for CNC Music Factory. She sued them and won.
Good for her.
I know, right? But see, there's
her,
that thing. So, for perpetuity, they thought they were getting away with it, right?
Wow.
You can imagine, being in a movie, being an actor, they want to be able to re-edit the movie at any time and keep your likeness in it. But who's going to say that they're not going to use your likeness in a movie you never signed to?
And maybe in very inappropriate ways that you just wouldn't
They can do anything.
Right?
We already know that online you can do deepfakes of anybody. Doesn't matter. You can also do sound-alikes of anybody. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just doesn't matter anymore. And
so that's a real worry.
The technology is not going away anytime soon.
No.
So I think for this now to be decided, right here, right now, I think it's a good thing for these to be tested.
Yeah. It's insanity. It makes no sense, and I'm just upset. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. But, excuse me, what I find more upsetting, to be honest, is what's happening elsewhere. Now, this is a small upset, and, I can get over it. But, I mean...
Let it out, Mickey. Tell us. What's pissing you off?
No, not pissing, but we've got floods in Moscow. We got floods in the rest of Europe. We got floods in America. We got fires in America. We got fires everywhere. We got floods, fires, and we got British this crazy Columbia. Storm. Hillary, right?
Hillary.
A crazy storm. In fact, there's a huge storm here.
I know. Right now, I've got lightning outside my house.
Yeah, same. So it must be stretching all the way then. It was unseasonably warm today. Unseasonably warm.
25. 1 degree off the average long-term temperature for summer.
Yeah. That's, a
bit early.
I know. So it's happening, everybody. It's going to happen in 100 years. No. Now, we are looking at it now. So we need to prepare for it. When? Now.
It's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So, and this is sort of upsetting because we've been talking about this for over 10 years. Because the thing is, Dave and I know computers. We also know people, and we know science, believe it or not. And the computer models are only as good as the data that goes in them.
That's
and then it can only allow for what you put into the algorithm. It doesn't magically do things you didn't expect. It really doesn't.
Not like AI.
Not like that's true. That's
it is true.
But
you're right, Mickey. So they'd failed so readily and so often. I think it's the same thing. To include things that they just couldn't think were even possible in the modeling. They really failed us on the modeling, and everything was 200 years away, 100 years away, 50 years away, and it's here.
No, it's not their fault. They did the best they could.
No, they didn't know.
They didn't know. They just didn't know. And we took it for gospel. Now, but then we thought, what about this bit? Oh, that bit, and then a knock-on effect. And we said this from the start. We just don't know all the factors. And there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that's going to happen. But we're going to, I see. Yeah, we should have taken that into account. Yes, you should, but you didn't. So,
I've got another thing for you, too, when we're done with this one.
Okay, go on.
No. Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Well, remember that our old friend, COVID?
Oh, I do.
That? Sometimes it's a little bit more recent for some folk than others. I had it a year ago. Jeez, it was bad.
I had it this week. Oh, last week.
Last week. That's right.
It's not so good. Yeah.
No, not so good. I've been listening to, remember Dr. Norman Swan?
I sure do.
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening to him on the ABC the other day, and he said, boiling up in the US right now is some new strains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he said these ones aren't good. Now, I immediately thought, oh, here we go again. Yep, here we go. More jabs, I suppose. And yes, he advertised some. No, that's fine. I'm not saying anything negative about any of it. And then I thought, what's coming up? There's something coming up. I'm sure If only I could remember what it was. Oh, that's right, an election. Yes, an election. Yes, that's right. So, mail-in ballots. If America was in lockdown, could you imagine the outcome?
Oh yeah.
So, wow, I thought to myself, just privately, not providing medical information. And at all. And certainly not misinformation, I'll tell you. So I couldn't help it. I couldn't help but to think about it. And what those, the complexities of how you might be restricted from voting. Wow. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I sent you a couple of things today, Mickey, and this is a segue off what I just said. And it was The Simpsons 2023 predictions from, I don't know, when it was the 90s or something, yeah?
Nice.
And this was, I think, Lisa's president, and she takes over from Biden, who had ruined the economy, and there was some kind of nuclear war against some country that wasn't really named, but it wasn't one of the big ones. And I just went, wow, that's really... I'm not sure if they're writing quatrains into cartoons. If you're a Nostradamus fan, you know what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Right? Or is it just coincidence? And I like both sides of that coin. I really do. Because you get smart people together, you get comedians together, you laugh and joke before there's even pen to paper. And I think the connections people make when they're laughing and joking enable people to possibly see through time, as a quote from The Simpsons, as Lisa says.
Well, you and I, we get inspiration when we talk, and sometimes just go click bang, you go, oh, look at this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's it. We've both done it.
That's right.
So maybe, just maybe, there's something to this.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think there's a lot to it. In fact, to be honest with you, it's a thing. It's a thing where our juices, and this is also where stuff, I guess I have to say, telepathy comes in some way, but also because your brain is fundamentally firing all the time. But if you're talking to somebody on the same wavelength, you're just spitballing, and all of a sudden connections are made because you said something, or you think of something, or whatever it might be, right? And all of a sudden,
it's like a quantum connection, Mickey.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you think, okay, that makes sense all of a sudden. And you think, okay, right. And then you just keep on riffing and you keep going, and it's just it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's just, it's phenomenal. So, absolutely. But look, the world is flooding. The world is on fire. It's everything, right? It's and we've never seen any of it like this. And that's really important to understand. We've never seen anything like it. Right? All of a sudden, well, there it is. It's now the normal. It's what happens. What are you going to do about it, right? And then still we put our head in the sand.
Bob Hope Drive near Palm Springs is underwater. It's basically a dry riverbed. Yeah.
Wow.
Any rain's going to flood it, but just letting you know. I mean, I've been there. There's mudslides and there's, cars off the freeway. Just hoping there's no loss of life. I don't want to hear that there is. I'm just really hoping. I've got friends, I had tons of friends there because I went to school. So I'm just hoping that everyone takes it easy. It's SoCal. I mean, isn't that the vibe?
Yeah,
it's just taking it easy.
It's meant to be, right?
Yeah, it really should be. So
it's like the thing that they do.
Well, they're in their element of taking it easy. Let's put it that way. So I just hope, Mickey, I hope it's gonna, let's call it blow over for a hurricane. That's a reasonable pun.
Yeah, look. No, it's good. It's good.
Because
I do hope it'll blow over, as they say.
Like the fires, I'm going to say the fires in British Columbia were just rotten.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the 2019 fires here.
There was a comparison as to the land area that had been burned at that time. And they did it for the last 20 years, 100 years, I can't remember. But every year, the area that burned, they're represented there. And in 2023, it was triple the amount that had burned before. Triple, if not more. I got to see if I can find it again. It's a really great graph. But yeah, well, this is a thing. It's a thing. It's disconcerting at the very least. And it's coming our way now because today was very hot. That's why we got a thunderstorm now. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're still in the winter, by the way.
That's right.
I had the heat on last week. And come spring, we had rain, a lot of undergrowth. Come spring and summer, it might get dry, very dry, and we might experience really, really, really bad fires like we did before. I hope we don't.
Agreed.
Hope it's not a strategy. Hope it's not a plan,
Oh yeah, I hope it's not one of their plans. So I know I've cleared all around my house for the first time, and it's almost to the dirt.
Okay.
So that's at least something. But we've got rules. We've got rules in Australia. So you're allowed. I think it depends on the zone, whether you're just in a regular zone of just housing, or you're in a medium fire risk, or a high fire or extreme fire risk where I am. I'm allowed to clear 50 meters around my house to the dirt, but I haven't because my house is made of hopefully some materials that make it an advantage. They're not burn. So that is one of the things that concerns me greatly. I would like to do it, but there's a lot of cost in that too. And then I could just basically concrete over the top, I suppose, right? But the fire itself can, in an extreme fire event, can leave the thing it's burning and advance as a single unbroken flame like 80 meters or more. So even the 50 meter allowance that I would have would still be insufficient. So yeah, I don't want there to be lives lost. I do not want there to be any more, bad fire seasons and property lost. I don't want to see developers go to La Jolla and buy into their, to the properties there and redevelop it. I don't want the county, I suppose it's called, to sell to property developers, which is, I think there's a conspiracy about that at the moment. I don't want to see that. I saw Biden go through there today on our news saying, that he's going to help with the recovery. I mean, really? I hope that happens. That'd be nice. Nice to see. You're spending hundreds of, billions of dollars, I suppose, giving weapons to Ukraine. Surely you could help people in a little island that, I don't know, in the Pacific. It's a lovely place. Nothing should have happened like it happened. And is the conspiracy possible that there were directed energy weapons that seemed to, burn the ground? Is that what happened in Canada or in BC? Look, I don't know. I've got to put it out there, and I have to raise that question.
Some of it looked like it. Okay,
yeah,
so it looked like what happened in Greece last year.
Yeah, that's right.
And in some parts, but specifically Greece. And I looked at some of the footage from Hawaii, and it looked like that again. So I'm not saying, but
I'm not saying it happened. Like. I'm just. Yeah. I think the question is valid. This question is valid. Are there weather wars currently being fought between nations right now?
Well, it's possible. I mean, the tech is there. So
yeah, when the patents are there.
And it's the companies that have registered in weather manipulation are there.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
I don't want to buy tons of stock in it, but I think raising a question is reasonable, and the listeners, Mackie, can make up their own mind about that, how they feel about it.
Of course.
And look, we'd be the happy recipients of any information that you had on it. And you can find Mackie and mine, our contact details on shinysideout.net. It's an old website that we have. So do that if you can. Wow, Mackie, you know what? I saw a thing about Antarctica.
Okay.
I did send a copy to you. It's a fellow being interviewed, and he's from one of, I think, the US base down there, and he's kind of whistleblowing this discovery that he held.
Okay.
And it's like a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer cube of an array that detects neutrinos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
And he said it's not just simply able to detect them, like read, it's an operating weapon. It can produce them, he said.
Wow.
And I don't know how much is true. Nothing's verifiable because we'll never know the truth about what's there. And there's another one talking about Antarctica as well, from the American side also. Another whistleblower, or claims to be a whistleblower, who says that's where they have all their alien tech now.
Huh.
And so, directed energy weapon was the thing that was this huge neutrino kind of super weapon thing. That's interesting. I mean, it's interesting.
No, look, it is. And in fact, there's a lot more going on than we would ever dream of ever saying, because some of the stuff would just be so outlandish that we just couldn't conceive of it. It doesn't mean it's not real. It just means we just can't conceive of it. So it's a funny thing that way. And I think very strongly that a lot more is going on. It's an interesting thing that Bismarck said. I think it was Bismarck.
Uh-huh.
More than 100 years ago. He's the guy that sort of he was behind the formation of the modern Germany, if we want to call it that. And he said there are no such things as accidents in diplomacy. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. It's all purpose driven. There are no accidents. There are no coincidences in diplomacy. If something is happening, it's meant to happen. And if you look at things that are happening today in the world, right, whatever they might be, and then you go, okay, but yeah, and a lot of stuff that seems to be happening, you think, well, nobody could possibly think this is a coincidence. It just doesn't feel like it. But obviously, people say it. It's coincidence. Don't worry about it. It's just nothing, right? Except, of course, it is something. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, well, maybe it is something. And when once you do that, though, then you go on the slippery slope to conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's where Dave and I live. So it's a hard call sometimes. There's too many things that are happening that are just, they seem insane, right? But they're clearly not. And they're deliberate. A lot of the things that you see, all the things are coming together. And I've said this before. I'm very impressed with the forward planning that the parasites have. Well, they have had a lot of time to do it, but I think they're really, really good at it. Okay, and they have really put a lot of effort into making sure that every contingent is planned out. They've pretty much accounted for every possibility, and it is really a phenomenal thing that they did do. It's 9/11 is the best example in my book of that, where all things benefit someone. So there's not just one person, but there are many beneficiaries, it seems.
Yeah.
From this, and it's really quite it's extraordinary. It is extraordinary to see it unfold. And if you've got thousands of years to plan stuff, and you know human nature, and you might have other things at your disposal that Dave and I can't conceive of, don't know about, right? Don't dream of. Then all of a sudden, it's a thing. You're definitely working. You're playing in a whole different league, different ball games. It's a different thing now. And to coincidences just simply do not exist. There's no such thing as a coincidence.
I wonder how far right their Gantt chart goes in the planning phases, or it's just maybe it's zoomed out a lot because it's all year on year and year a year. You know, we're not going to be like, oh, this day we're going to do this. No, it'd be zoomed right out. I'm still waiting for the fun of a fake alien invasion. You know, the mayhem there. Yeah, looking forward to that. That's good. That, I mean, I did have that for September this year.
What, the fake alien invasion?
Yes. It's on my card. It's on my bingo card for September. No, I thought a war was like more countries being involved in a war in September. That's what I had.
I think the Ukraine war has deterred the Chinese, in my opinion,
totally.
Massively. Mm-hmm. You know, because they're going, oh well, this was meant to be a cakewalk.
Going on a weekend,
in Taiwan,
take it over.
Yeah. And Taiwan is better equipped than the Ukraine. So Taiwan is better equipped than the Ukraine. So you think, okay, that's a bit odd.
The Ukraine, Mickey, had 8 years to prepare. Only 8 from when Crimea was taken. Taiwan
crazy, right?
has officially had 75 years.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, they're prepared, buddy. There's no doubt.
To prepare themselves. That's right. For this inevitable day, whenever that is, when the seas are just right, the visibility is good enough. That's right.
That's right. That's the truth. That's exactly where we are, my friend. That's it's a thing. It's a thing. We have entered the box, Schrodinger's box, and we're all cats in it. You know, this is a stretched example of things, but I do believe that we are now in the final stages of what's about to be unfolded, right? And there were some hiccups and kinks, and I think they're going to go ahead with the war, to your point, because they can't think of anything else to do, in my opinion.
Well, I heard that there was $400 billion of default now in China. Another Evergrande, and then the next one down has not made payments, and the bank that was meant to be receiving the payments hasn't received any payments, and it could be that banking institution could go up as well, or belly up. So I just don't know, Becky, because this is like the Cold War again.
It is
between the US and Russia, and news stories coming over the border wall like grenades. You don't know whether it's true or not, but you know it affects all of your side to read it, and it's intentional. It's like I forget what her name was when she was broadcasting radio over the border, which could not be stopped by anybody. But she was propagandering the everyone on the other side. Do you remember? I forget that.
I do.
Yeah, and
and no one could stop this from happening, right? And all this fake news, all this propaganda. So at the moment, there's propaganda wars going on, for sure.
Oh.
And do you remember how there was, I think there was Chinese police found in lots of countries, well...
Oh, yes.
Right?
The cultural ambassadors.
That's good. Well, I'd heard from, there was an article with quotes with the CIA from some interview that they'd done in the past, and it was exactly the other way around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, where all of their operatives within China had been captured or escaped or were pulled or what have you, right? And the CIA fellow was saying it's now time for us to reestablish our forces on their side. I mean, it's not stopping, right? Whatever this is, doesn't seem to have any real boundary. I mean, the world is the boundary. Maybe not. Correct. Maybe space is as well.
I don't think there are any more boundaries either, geographically or morally, ethically, politically. From a diplomatic point of view, I think anything, and we're going to see this evolve rapidly. Anything is fair game now. Any kind of activity, any kind of undertaking, it's all good. It's all good. It is no longer taboo or off limits. That ship has sailed, in my opinion.
I've got another one.
Go on.
Did you know that the US today, in August of this year, right? This is now. It's now news. Had destroyed the last of its sarin gas missiles.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Under the treaty, they had to set cameras up, and in a factory, I forget where, Alabama, I think, they had machinery set up to be able to dismantle and collect all of this sarin gas.
Wow.
And the last of the missiles were finally, due to the treaty, were finally destroyed.
Huh.
It's like, hang on a minute. Wait, what? Really? Was it still going? Still going on? Surely you can't tip them into the ocean, and there's so many things you can't do. But they have all this, containment and blah, 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 and it's now all bagged up. So that's pretty good. But then I reminded myself of that sarin gas attack that was claimed that the leader of Syria had done to his own people. Do you remember that?
I do.
Wow.
Sarin gas as well as mustard gas.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Horrendous.
So, horrendous. But who was the true perpetrator there if these weapons were still getting about before they were all destroyed? Right?
Did somebody make a quick buck? Of course.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I wish I... Well, I actually don't want to know anymore. I'm really just... I'm over looking for the perpetrators, but rather... Look, just understanding it's happened and be done with it, and let's move on to the next thing. That's like I'm saying. Give me my hoverboard, right? A hover car, and bring on that alien invasion. Or the fake one.
Oh, my.
That underground bunker, right? With the alien reproduction vehicles and the sports model. I want to see the sports model.
Sports model. Yeah, absolutely. It's a thing. It's I hate to say it, but it is a thing, and it's definitely something we need to watch out for. Because at this point, with all the disclosure around us, because it has happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next logical step would be, of course they're aliens. What do you mean? Yeah, of course. You know what really I found interesting? That the the recent mission, the Russian mission to the moon, failed.
Oh, it crashed. That's right.
Spectacular fashion. Yeah, it failed. Yes, spectacularly. Yeah. So I found that quite interesting. I have to say.
I suppose in this day and age, where it should be, cakewalk to get over get up there, right?
It should be a cakewalk, yeah, but clearly it wasn't, right? So okay. So what actually happened? Is this the same thing?
The mighty might of the USSR is no longer.
Yeah, there's that. But casting mind back to the Mars missions.
Yes.
The Mars missions have many of them failed in spectacular fashion.
Oh yes, totally.
Right? And okay, well, is this the same? Is this what we're seeing here? Just more of the same? I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, the moon only moves away from the Earth by 3.5 centimeters a year.
Yeah.
So your calculations can't be that out.
Well, you think so? I don't know. What? Who said that?
I mean, it actually looks a ton closer than it actually is. It's heaps further than you think it is to the moon.
Now, do you know if the Indian mission landed?
No, it crashed.
The Indian mission crashed as well.
Oh, was it this week?
It was meant to be either today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Because there was a race to go to the dark southern pole of the moon.
The Chandran Indian lunar mission inches closer to the moon 5 days ago than radio silence.
Oh, so okay. So I wonder, mate. I wonder. No, I'm not saying anything.
Oh, you're not saying there might be a weapon there that says no.
Not saying nothing.
Says no.
Big sign. Go back. Go back.
Go back. Wrong way.
Armed response.
Yeah, wrong way.
Trespassers will be shot.
I like the one that says eaten. Right. Turned into Soylent Green.
That's funny.
The last thing I can read here is that they were searching for a safe moon landing site.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's in response to the catastrophic Russian failure to land anywhere. So
and the last one that India had where it just failed and crashed onto the surface. Remember that years ago? It just impacted on the surface.
That didn't surprise me a lot, to be honest with you.
Well, let's keep up hope that it works for them this time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Meki, with 1 minute to go.
Oh, jeez.
With 1 minute to go, I played Civilization years ago, and
I love Civilization.
And the Zulus made it to space before I did, and that surprised me. It's not. It wasn't playing this historic line. Right, It wasn't this timeline. It was another timeline. But yeah, I failed. I failed to make it to space.
You can't underestimate the Zulus.
That's right.
I usually play the Zulus, so I like the beginning. In the beginning, of this really good warrior.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're just too nerdy now, right?
I'm
the nerds are here.
Well, there you go. The music's going to start in a second.
Cool. Look, this has been Plato's Cave. Thank you so much for inviting us into your lives. Really, really love spending time with you. Don't go anywhere, because something is going to come up. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But most of all, be safe.